Hello and welcome to Simon Says Artwork. In this video we're going to be looking through one of my old sketchbooks here. I dug this out and thought we could have a flick through and talk about the different things that I tried to draw and ideas that I had, and it's just a little memory lane visit for myself. So alright, let's take a look. Now I've got vivid memories of most of these sketchbook pages still, which is somewhat unusual for me because I do forget a lot of the drawings and things that I've done, but this book sticks into my head. Some of these first pages, like that first page, is a lot of ideas I really wanted to work on for either a comic book or a cartoon, and I just never got around to it. I wasn't too sure where I was going with it. This next page is again trying to throw out bits of ideas and just bits of thoughts. I like the bottom left corner there where you can see little cartoon characters. But yeah, a lot of these characters are recurring. That person on the right hand side page who's on a little hovering scooter thing was a lad who was at a friend's house with me. I just drew him whilst he was there. This is before I really drew buildings much, so it was one of the first buildings that I drew, and I've learnt quite a bit since about how to apply tone and shadow, you know, because there's not enough shadow underneath the rooftops and the bits and pieces. And then this World War II image, which I took quite a while to get the references for, and I really quite like how it turned out. This guy here was a handyman who came and did some work in our house. Oh, there we are. It says the date 2016. So I was in between with 2018 and 2014. So yeah, he came into the house and did some work. And then the page after, this is the front cover and back cover for a comic book that I made, a first issue, and I just started to draw it in the sketchbook. So I made a few mistakes, and one of them is to draw them in the sketchbook. I like that live life, love life, take life, end life signs receding into the background just to suggest the different themes I was going to try and explore. I had a few novelty ideas like this half page, which I had in the comic book as well as in the sketchbook, just to give a nice treat to the viewer. So again, another image which took me a long time to finish. I really think it was one of those images where I still am really happy with how it turned out, and I should have done more of them really, but at the time I just did that and then moved on thinking that that'll be one of a series of different kind of sci-fi inventions, and it wasn't. It should have been, but yeah, I think it was okay. Obviously there's things wrong with it, you know. I would have changed certain parts of it, but otherwise I think it's got some interesting parts, and yeah, something still quite nice about that. And some of these I put in the speech bubbles and sound effects before I'd figured out the dialogue. In fact, that was the case with all of it. A lot of it was just winging the ideas. And I liked it, but in hindsight, I wish I'd have spent more time doing the actual work which you see comic book artists do. You know, all of that production work is for a reason. It's why my comic book was a bit slapdash and a bit quick. It wasn't its biggest flaw. I probably could have gotten away with it. I like that image on the left-hand page at the bottom. Well, the bottom half. Just because it's zoomed out a lot. I think I should have done more establishing shots like that. But yeah, a lot of the problems weren't necessarily the style of the drawings, even though the drawings could have used a lot of improvement. I like this big double page image. It was more the storytelling and pacing that I hadn't really got the grasp of correctly in order to really sell the idea of what the conflict is in this story. I like that page on the right because the bubble in the middle with the arrow pointing downwards is quite a nice idea that I put into there, I think. But I remember doing this. It's when I used to use a greenhouse as a studio, and I used to upload videos to YouTube from there. So this will be on my YouTube channel somewhere at the bottom or towards the bottom. Became a bit of a noir comic book. You can see a lot more black creeping in. I was trying to thematically change the tone of the comic towards the end. There was a lot of ideas that I didn't really execute very well, and at some point I might even revisit this. And that was the last page there on the left, and it's the very first page on the right, which I hadn't considered. It's strange ideas, it's strange images, and I think it's still got potential. And then after all of that work, I just started to go into weird, bizarre stuff. I quite like the planes heading towards it, some weird godlike giant character, which all people are trying to climb up to the top, and a soldier just in the palm trying to defend his position. It's strange. And then an unfinished image at the back there, which I left it there because I didn't know how to continue. And then this bit in the middle, this split here, not in the middle, sorry, on the inside covers. It made a nice image, but obviously you've got to hold up the whole sketchbook to pages to see it. But I still quite like the continuation and some of the ideas in there. But that's it, my 2016 sketchbook. And then the back cover there, see you on the flip side. That was all done with a 0.05 fine liner. And they were all drawn with pencil and then inked afterwards, which I no longer do, including the front cover, which I think was the last image I drew on the sketchbook. So yeah, that's it. Okay, that's the sketchbook. It was probably the first one that I worked my way through, and it was when I'd not long joined Instagram and really started to get inspired by different people's work. So I really just tried to pour myself out into this sketchbook as far as ideas, went into the comic book, and then ended up with, bits and pieces here and there, and just trying to keep it quirky and learn as much as I can, as quick as I could. But yeah, so it's got, things that I like and things that I'm glad that I've started to drop a little bit more. I think the things that I've started to drop is the certain aspects of the pen work where it'd be lacking in certain areas and heavier in others. And I try to create a bit more of a finish now. It may seem like a slight thing, but on reflection, when I look at it, I can see those aspects that are lacking, which I try to compensate for these days. But I've still got a long way to go, so it is just part of the learning process. It's nice to revisit this book, though. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell, and I will see you in the next video.